All right, Shalom Yasharallah, Shalom Israel. Before we go any further within this lesson, I want to start it off by giving all praises, honor, and glory with infinite blessings unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahachodash. Yahweh is the Heavenly Father's true name, who the people of this world inwardly calls God. And Yahweh Shai is the only begotten Son of the Heavenly Father, whom the people of this world inwardly calls Jesus Christ. I'm the brother Tazier from the Camp Company of Prophets, located out here in Tampa, Florida. As always, double honors going out to our beloved elder bishops and to the elder apostles, the great millstone, who rule well and that teach well, with much blessings and salutations going out to the hopeful elect, to the Akim, while a few Akwaf that are tuning in, and then to the men that are laboring within this truth, scattered across the four corners of the earth, wherever you may be. Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Barakatam, unto you and to your households within these evil days, these evil times which we are surely living in. All right, as the Lord, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai is visiting this earth, man. Okay, and so we're going to move into, prophecy, because right now the Lord is working, all right? And everything that he said in his name, in his great glorious name, he said will come to pass, is coming to pass, man. All right. So it says, Trump signs stablecoin law as crypto industry aims for mainstream adoption. Okay. It says, law requires tokens to be backed by liquid assets. Measures its first major crypto law enacted in the United States. Some crypto firms look to gain bank licenses. Critics say loopholes in law risk making U.S. haven for criminals. And this is published by Reuters about like 5 days ago. It says Washington, July 18th, Reuters, U.S. President Donald Trump on Friday signed a law to create a regulatory regime for dollar-pegged cryptocurrencies known as stablecoins. All right, as a milestone that could pave the way for the digital assets to become an everyday way to make payments and move money. All right, in which they're making, all right, they're making a way to where they're getting rid of the dollar, man. All right, so the average way you buy and you trade and you sell, okay, with the United States dollar, all right, the FRNs, the Federal Reserve banknotes, all right, is being done away with. And your president Donald Trump, DJ Trump, has passed bills, all right, which is going to usher in a new way of buying, selling, and trading, in which this all is going to tie into the heavy prophecy of the mark of the beast, okay, being implemented within these elites, all right, these top banking elites, all right, the ones that are currently in rulership of this world's new world order. So everything that's going on right now around the world, okay, and currently in the United States, it's biblical. It's biblical. We're living in biblical times. All right. And what your president just did, all right, is he's paving the way, all right, for this MOTB, all right, which is an abbreviation of the mark of the beast, to be to come to fruition, to be mandated and implemented, all right, in a new way of living, okay, in America, of buying and selling. So it says, U.S. President Donald Trump on Friday signed a law to create a regulatory regime for dollar-pegged cryptocurrencies known as stablecoins, a milestone that could pave the way for the digital assets to become an everyday way to make payments and move money. Okay, it says the bill, dubbed the Genius Act, All right, in which you understand that was just passed. All right, this week. I'm sure it was this week, or maybe last week to be exact. Last week to be exact. All right, in which this act, this bill that was just passed, is paving the way. All right, for Revelations, man, the book of Revelation. All right, chapter 13, verse 16. Verse 15 and on down. All right. And it says the bill dubbed the Genius Act passed in the House of Representatives by a vote of 308 to 122, with support from nearly half the Democratic members and most Republicans. It had earlier been approved by the Senate. It says the law is a huge win for crypto supporters who have long lobbied for such a regulatory framework in a bid to gain greater legitimacy for an industry that began in 2009 as a digital Wild West famed for its innovation and speculative chaos. This signing is a massive validation of your hard work and pioneering spirit. All right, pioneering spirit. It said Trump at a signing event that included dozens of government officials, crypto executives, and lawmakers. It's good for the dollar and it's good for the country. All right. So basically, man, what they're doing is they're saying that this stablecoin, this whole stablecoin, is backing up the dollar. All right, in which we understand that the dollar, which is supposed to be backed up by real what's the word I'm looking for? It's supposed to be backed up by something, in which it's not. All right, it's supposed to be backed up by gold, in which it's not backed up by gold. The dollar isn't backed up by anything. All right, the dollar is as strong as the people make it, or as the government says it is. In which just now you had let me see, dollar. The United States dollar, it dropped about 10%. All right, so this is the form of de-dollarization. All right, this is the dollarization happening right in front of you. It says the U.S. dollar has lost 10% since January as global investors react to trade tensions, rising defects, and uncertainty over Federal Reserve policy, in which they've been planning on this for many years. All right, and throughout the year, the dollar has been losing its value. Thus, this is going to usher in a new way of buying and selling through this so-called stablecoin. All right, in which you see right here, as you read it, it says for dollar-pegged cryptocurrencies known as stablecoins, a milestone that could pave the way for the digital assets to become an everyday way to make payments and move money. Okay, so but now they're saying that the stablecoin is backing up the dollar, in which the dollar is going to be, if that's the right word, the forerunner up. All right, it's going to be the not the dollar. The stablecoin is going to be the next forerunner up, as the U.S. dollar deplenishes, okay, or cripples, all right, decreases, all right, basically dies off. It says stablecoins are designed to maintain a constant value, usually a 1-to-1 U.S. dollar peg, and their use has exploded notably by crypto traders moving funds between tokens. The industry hopes they will enter mainstream use for sending and receiving payments instantly, and that's going to show you the convenience. All right, which is it's all lies. All right, it's all lies of the devil, okay, the deceiver. All right, because this is going to bring convenience to the masses of the people. Not only that, but they're basically telling you that this stablecoin, the new way of buying and selling, is is Salakia. Let me put my phone on. But the new way of buying and selling is going to damn, I just lost my train of thought. Salakia. All right, it's going to, be more convenient. It's gonna stay. All right, it's not going to depreciate the worth of the stable coin, the worth of this new way of crypto trading, crypto buying the tokens. It's not gonna deplenish like the way the dollar is. And it's the reason it's happening is because these devils are doing this for a reason, to bring in that charagma, all right, to bring forth that NWO, that new world order. It says the industry hopes they will enter mainstream use for sending and receiving payments instantly. The new law requires stablecoin to be backed by liquid assets such as US dollars and short-term treasury bills, in which the US dollar isn't backed up by anything. Okay, it's supposed to be backed up by gold, all right, but it's not. Okay, that's why it's deplenishing, because if it was backed up by gold, and as you can see how gold goes up every couple weeks, months, days, and gold doesn't loses its value. All right, simple as that. Real gold doesn't lose its value. So if the dollar is backed up by gold, why is the dollar losing its value? Okay, because it's not backed up by anything. Okay, it's just a legal tender. Okay, it's just paper. It's just paper. All right, with the damn devils on it. Okay, but it's all all right. It's all the tactics of the devil, man. He all right, because he's a cunning hunter. All right, because he got everybody hooked on the dollar. The next best thing, so to speak, speaking as a devil, the next best thing, all right, and if these are the devil speak, this is how he think, is that the MOTB, that's where they moving towards. All right, it's a trap, bro. It says the new law requires stablecoin to be backed by liquid assets such as US dollars and short-term treasury bills, and for issuers to disclose publicly the composition of their reserve monthly. Crypto companies and executives argue such legislation will enhance stablecoins' credibility and make banks, retailers, and consumers more willing to use them to transfer funds instantly. All right, in which he's basically putting the whole system, all right, the whole grid, the whole economy, okay, to move forward to this prophecy, man. So we're gonna get the book of Habakkuk, as the Bible tells us, because the Lord warned us about this, man. The Lord told us, the Bible told us, and we're living in biblical times, man. All right, Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3, and it says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time." All right, in which all this precept alone can represent all the visions, okay, which are the times of prophecy that either happen, is happening, or it's going to happen, man. All right, because the prophets receive visions of things of the future, the present, and the past. All right, but we're talking about, in this lesson today, we're talking about the vision that is approaching. Okay, the vision that is speaking, which is known as the RFID microchip C-HIP, okay, which is known as the mark of the beast, coming to fruition and being mandated. All right, so it says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak." And we are in the end. We are at the end of days. Okay, the end of the self-proclaimed white man, woman, and child rulership. Okay, we're at the end of the heathens rulership. Okay, it says, "But at the end it shall speak and not lie." All right, and it's speaking. This is a form of it speaking. This is a form of it speaking, man. Trump signed stablecoin law as crypto industry aims for mainstream adoption. Bro, what does mainstream look? What does even mainstream mean? All right, let's look up the word mainstream. The ideas, attitudes, or activities that are regarded as normal or conventional. All right, so norm, they're gonna make this a norm. Okay, just how you buy and sell with the paper dollar, with the Benjamin Franklin's, the 20. You know, you go inside, you hand the cashier a dub, a 20, okay, to put in your tank. All right, soon it's gonna be to where they're gonna use this. All right, they're gonna use this as a way of you buying gas, the way of you buying groceries. All right, the way of you clocking in to work, the way of you transferring, sending money to others. All right, and it's gonna be in a form of a chip, okay, a RFID microchip. All right, so it says industry, okay, aims for mainstream. What's adoption mean? Let's get the word of adoption, okay, which is pretty simple, but for the edification's sake, adoption, the action of legally, the action or fact of choosing to take up, follow, or use something. Selection. So this is the new way of buying and selling. In your administration, your government, starting with your president, your king, Donald Trump, has signed bills and signed things that are laws that will be put in place for this thing to be brought forth. So Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3 says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie." So now we're seeing these things. We're seeing it happen. Not only that, look at this. Oops, it's not up there. Well, the elder Kazak, all right, from the Mississippi camp, he just did a video literally not too long ago how the Neuralink had just implanted 2 patients, man. Okay, and that's showing you, bro, where we're moving to in society, where we're moving to. All right, in prophecy, man, and we're moving towards that, man. That RFID microchip, that charagma, all right, will be implemented. Okay, and it says, "At the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." So, hey, it's not tarrying. It's happening. So, check it out. Hey, and this is only for educational purposes. All right, not making no money, not monetizing or gaining any money from this. Educational purposes. All right, under the Copyright Act of 1976. Okay, that's it.
I'm very confused about the Genius Act. I thought there was a deal made by the president to make sure that included was going to be the central bank digital currency. There'd be no possibility of a backdoor to get that. So where are we?
Steve, let me explain something. In 1971, we went off of the gold standard. The Federal Reserve did that. And we went to cash, a cash society, and the value of the dollar has drastically gone down to the buying power is less than 10 cents now from where it was in the 1950s before we went off the gold reserve. What's happening today on July 17th in 2025 when no one is paying attention, no one's talking about it, everyone is in blind rage about the Epstein files, and I don't blame them. However, right now, what is being voted on today in Congress is the entire...
Yeah, because the majority of the people don't even know. All right, the masses of the people, the United States Babylonians, all right, they don't even know that this act was passed. And if they do, they don't have any information, okay, of the seriousity of this act. Why was it passed and what is it going to bring? All right.
Set up groundwork and entire infrastructure being laid to move from cash to digital currency. And the number one thing that is not happening today is a ban on a central bank digital currency. This means the ability for the government take control of your digital bank account where all your money is and turn it off. And this is why I'm so upset and it's not being talked about. Steve, I was the only no vote on the rule last night. And Congress set a record last night, and no one's talking about that either. This was the longest.
Yeah, so she's basically coming out, man, speaking on these things. All right. We already understand that the top banking elites, families, okay, or more so the faces of those who are, taking so-called taking care of this earth. They already told you, man, at the forums, okay, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Okay, Klaus Schwab, whatever his name is, he told you, man. So they're setting these things up in order to bring forth this NWO, which is abbreviation for this New World Order. All right. And you have this woman right here. What's her name? It's like Green. So like, let me see.
Held open for a rule in history. And it finally shut down sometime around midnight because there was a deal made, and the deal will not be honored. It was a deal that Speaker Johnson made, and he said that he would put a ban on central bank digital currency in the NDAA. But let me tell you something, that's going to get stripped out in the Senate because what they told us all week long is the Senate does not have the votes to pass a ban on a central bank digital currency. So I want to lay this out straight for you all. You never thought in your lifetime that the government would shut you down, would close your churches, would close your schools, would close your business. And that happened only a few years ago. But what is happening today is the groundwork is being laid, and it's all in the name of cryptocurrency. And
exactly, the groundwork is being laid. All right, and you see how she she's throwing up in quotations, and because these devils have the means, they have the money, they have the resources to bring forth this dystopian society. All right. Right here. I'm gonna read a little bit of it. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 15, it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. All right. So these devils, these rulers, they have the power, they have the money, they have the dominion of the earth, the resources, okay, to bring forth this NWO. All right. It says that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Meaning the people, all right, the masters of the people. If you were not to worship, all right, to become a citizen of this man's new world order, which really, which really not even a citizen but a slave, okay, a pawn, all right, of this devil's bizarro world, okay, that you will be put to death, all right, in which really in a form of submitting yourself to his NWO in receiving of his mark, his charagma, which is known as the RFID microchip, man.
Stablecoin, but it is the entire regulatory process to switch us from cash to a cashless society to digital currency that can be controlled by the federal government. And there will be no ban on a central bank digital currency. There will be no way to protect your ability to fully control your digital currency in the future. And I'm voting no to this today. I don't know if there'll be any other no votes on the Republican side, but I'm voting no to this because I'm a Christian and I've read the Bible and I believe what Revelations 13:16 through 17 says. And I just cannot vote for a future system that will do that.
Yeah, man. So the people are seeing it. All right. The only people who aren't seeing it are those who need to. All right. Which is you Israelites. You got, like, even the brothers was going into it. He said, you other camps out here falsely speaking upon what's going on and falsely interpreting the scriptures, knowing the right way, but still yet you're falsely breaking down and bringing out the breakdowns of Revelation chapter 13, 15 and on down. You're deceiving the people, man. All right, or not even speaking on the things that's going on when it's plain, because you guys know it. You know these things, the scriptures. And even for those who don't know, all right, you got other camps that are not even speaking of these prophecies. They're not speaking of the prophecies to come, man. They're not speaking of the destruction that's nigh. Okay, it's not far off no more, man. The Lord is working, so it's nigh, man. It's here. Y'all not speaking about this, bro. Okay, when y'all should. The Lord told him, told you, man. Ezekiel, son of man, give them warning from me. Okay, and y'all not giving a warning. That's a shame. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
But that's okay. Hang on. But I thought at one time you had a dozen or maybe 25. You had the House Freedom Caucus plus others that are saying, "Hey, we don't support any possibility of having a central bank digital currency." A lot of them are concerned about things in the Genius Act overall, but they're prepared to, say we'll let that go forward. But they're adamant about the central bank digital currency. Where are all the other dozen, 20, 24 people that were with you?
They remain concerned. Don't get me wrong. My colleagues remain. I'm not in the Freedom Caucus, so I'm going to lay that out right there.
So she's basically a whistleblower, bro. She's basically a whistleblower, man. Telling you. Okay, what the fuck's going on? What they got going on, bro? Let me get this real quick. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. All right. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Because we are not ignorant. We're not dumb. Okay. Of what this man's doing. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and 11. It says, let Satan. All right. And that word Satan, it just means the adversary. In which the adversaries are those who are opposed against Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai and Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai's NWO, because the Lord's NWO, New World Order, okay, is going to be ushered in by Yahweh Shai, okay, and burning in fuel of fire, all right, when the Lord makes his return, and he gets rid of all this shit, okay. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, all right, for we are not ignorant of his devices, man. These bills he's passing, all right, these people he's setting up and putting up, these technocrats, Elon, these cryptocurrency founders and etc. You name it. All these things and he's using are all these devices he's using to bring forth this wicked world order, bro. This shit is wicked.
My colleagues remain concerned about a central bank digital currency. As a matter of fact, that was expressed as a concern by Republicans in every meeting that I was in. But yet there was no massive effort on a large scale to stop a central bank digital currency. It's just this. They were saying, we've got to deliver. The president wants this passed. We didn't even know about the Genius Act until Monday, but they're saying we have to have this passed. He wants a signing ceremony on Friday. He wants this done, and they're willing to push it forward without guaranteeing and passing on the front end. My demand is, let's do this on the front end. Let's stop the central bank digital currency first, and then let's pass this stuff. But no one is willing to do that. They were willing to make deals that I don't believe will hold, because we were told all week, Steve, by everyone, that a ban on CBDC, central bank digital currency, will not pass in the Senate. There are not 60 votes for that. So by Johnson putting it in the NDAA and saying this is our effort to get it to pass, it doesn't mean that it's going to pass in the Senate. They're going to gut it out. We watched them do that with the BBB. They're going to do it with Clarity, the other Bitcoin, the market regulatory bill that will pass today. They do this all the time, and the House constantly gets jammed. And here's one thing that really makes me angry, Steve. This was a closed rule. Johnson did not allow us to make amendments to the Genius Act, to make an amendment to put a ban on CBDC in the Genius Act. We were told, you don't have a right to amendments. You don't get to do your legislative process anymore. You just have to vote on it. And they forced it through, making what I think is a fake deal. And I wish the Freedom Caucus had held, but they didn't. They want to work and they want to pass the president's agenda, and I do too. But I'm not willing to go along with the pathway to a central bank digital currency in a cashless society where none of us can control our money. Because I don't trust the government, and no one else should trust the government.
Hey, and she works for the government. All right, you go to the day. They shows you, man. You know, no one's going to control their money. No one's going to be in control of anything, and that's what these devils want. They want a full totalitarian system. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Let's see what it is, man. All right. And guess who's paving the way for that, man? These technocrats, all right? DJ Trump. What is a totalitarian system? All right, so I just asked ChatGPT, what is a totalitarian system? A totalitarian system is which these devils are pushing for, all right, is a form of government in which a single ruling party or leader holds absolute control over all aspects of public, all right, which would be you citizens, and private life, all right, which would be, all right, in this form, one form would be even you bond, like it says in the scriptures, free and bond. All right, it says this system is characterized by centralized power, one authority. All right, these elites, top banking elites family. All right, often a dictator or a ruling party, which is the wicked, exercises total control without checks and balances. So how are they going to do it without checks and balances? They're going to do it by the way of digital currency. All right. And the object they're going to use, okay, is going to be the RFID mark of C-HIP. All right. That is the mark of the beast. Don't take that chip, man. If you take that chip, you're going to be opposed to the living God, the most high Yahweh, and the only begotten Son Yahweh Shai. The Lord is going to destroy you upon his return, because he's going to make his return. All right. And if you have that, or if you consent unto this man's new world order, if you are in alliance with this devil, if you agree with this devil, this man, this NWO, you will perish. All right. When the Lord makes his return, it says exercises that total control, checks and balances, suppression of dissent, freedom of speech, press and political opposition are often eliminated or severely restricted. And we're coming into those times. All right. It says propaganda. The state uses media and education to control how people think, and they're already doing that. But how much more? All right. Amos 8:11 comes, the famine of the word. It says promoting loyalty and suppressing alternative viewpoints. All right. And this is what's upon that vision, man. In Revelations chapter 13, 15 and on down. This is all a part of that vision. These are all things we're going to see. All right, within this devil performing and bringing forth this new world order. All right, it says surveillance. Citizens are often monitored through secret police or surveillance systems to maintain control and prevent rebellion. Control of the economy. The government typically directs economic activity, often owning major industries and setting production goals. Ideological domination. The regime promotes a specific ideology, all right? Nationalism, communism, fascism, and expects citizens to conform. All right? Let's see if we get it real quick. Yeah. Verse 16, and he causeth all All right. Man, woman, and child. Okay. Heathen, non-heathen. Both small and great. Celebrities. All right. To middle class, high class, low class. All right. To the less fortunate, the bum on the corner. All right. You name it. Rich and poor. Millionaires. All right. All right. Which high class, those who are stable, all right, to the lower class, to the poor, which are the working class, the 9 to 5s, that's the poor. Free in bond, all right, in which perfect example, like right here. All right, because I low-key wanted to get that, not low-key on high key. All right, where is it at? Okay, it says right here, and this is the system he's bringing forth, a totalitarian system. It says, it's a form of government in which a single ruling party or leader holds absolute control over all aspects of public and private life. Public and private life, man. It says, free and bond. Okay, so those who are free to do whatever they want, to travel, which soon that's going to come to obsolete too as well. You're not going to be able to travel unless you got that thing. All right, and there's going to be limits to traveling. All right, and it says, and bond. So those who are locked up, incarcerated, or in prison, jail. All right, you name it, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that mark is talking about a physical mark, a physical cutting, an incision. All right, that goes within your flesh, within your right hand or in your forehead. In which we understand that mark is talking about the charagma, all right, which is known as the RFID hip microchip, all right, radio frequency identification chip. And this is what these devils, okay, your current administration is pushing for, okay, all right. They're listening to their bosses, these elites, these top-making families, and they're doing the biddings of these devils, okay, to where it's going to be life or death situation. If you don't take this, you will be put to death. All right. So let's finish this off. Lord, when this lesson was edifying, in closing, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory with infinite blessings unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Hakodash. Till next time, I say Shalom, Wa Hababa.
And just because this administration is committed to that doesn't mean that a future administration will not lock down our bank accounts if we are not doing and saying what they want us to do. We've already been there. That was the past 4 years. I don't want to ever go back to that. And I don't want that future for my children, Steve. And so I am upset today. I'm adamantly no to this. And I wish I had more Republicans standing with me.